This is a brilliant woman. This is a woman who has incredible capacity. And I stood there with her watching the Senate vote, and I thought to myself, she's going to change things. It makes a difference. And it sends a message to every young Black woman in America. I can do that. I can do what she can do. She is America. And look at the look on her face in that picture. The same one I had. It's done. 53 yes, 47 no's. She passed. And I felt great pride. I was determined. We had to do two things. One was unite our allies around the world, because the predecessor had just broken everything up. And I wanted very much to figure out how I get in touch with all those world leaders, all of whom I knew because I've been around a long time. Could we bring back this solidarity with the United States and NATO and other parts of the world? The second thought I had, I was intent on changing the dynamic of the way we did our economy. Instead of trickle-down economics, my dad used to say, nothing ever trickled down his kitchen table. I wanted to make sure ordinary people had a shot. I was hoping that as we did that, my dad'd be proud. No American president ever gone into a war zone without the military guarding him. But I was determined to show up in Kyiv to let the world know we supported the Ukrainian people against Russian aggression. We were on a multi-hour ride into Kyiv. We couldn't fly in. We were afraid to get shot down. We went in on a train. It was a long time getting in. And the concern of the Secret Service was they were going to know we were here. Someone's going to do something to take out the train. But they didn't. I thought it was a show of support and resolve on the part of the United States of America. We are not leaving Ukraine to be ravaged by the Russians. That look in my face there is one of absolute determination. We weren't turning around. No better way to show it than for an American president to get on a train on a multi-hour ride to say, we're with you. The infrastructure law we passed was the most comprehensive attempt to rebuild America in American history. I want to make it clear. It wasn't just about Democrats getting benefited or blue states. I want to make sure everybody in America benefits from it because we're all Americans. And so this over $1 trillion bill over the next 10 years, more red states are benefiting than blue states. I knew when we passed these major pieces of legislation, they wouldn't come to fruition in the first administration because it takes time to build these bridges. It's going to increase commerce, it's going to increase economic growth, it's going to increase the ability of people to be with one another. This woman standing next to me, her name is Shiana, a young woman. Her generation is going to live or die based upon what we do over the next 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 years dealing with climate. From the time I got elected to the United States Senate, I worked on climate change. I thought that the only really existential threat to humanity is a change in climate. When we finally got the bill passed, I almost wish it wasn't called the Inflation Reduction Act. It provided for over $368 billion to deal with climate change, which is a threat to all humanity. And we got the legislation passed. It gave me such hope that we're going to be able to continue to make progress, and we are. I've committed that 30% of all federal lands and waters are going to be set aside permanently, so no development is allowed. When I leave office shortly, I'm not walking away from this issue. I'm going to be deeply involved in making sure we continue the fight. The Act is all about taking care of veterans, and it's the most significant thing we've done for veterans in a long, long time. I got in trouble years ago as a young senator saying we had only one sacred obligation as a nation, for those we send into harm's way, and care for them and their families when they come home. Her daddy was a victim of toxic waste coming off of these burn pits where he was stationed, just like my son Bo. Spent a year in Iraq near one of those burn pits, ended up with stage 4 glioblastoma. And I wanted her to know, of all the people there, the one who I thought was going to get the greatest benefit from what we did was her. So she's one of thousands of young children who are going to have part of their college paid for, part of their benefits cared for, because of the service of their father or their mother. It wasn't available before if you couldn't prove that death was the consequence of what happened. I have here, she gave me a little note. She said, "Thank you, Mr. President, for being so nice to us." I have it on my desk. Look, the United States invented these computer chips. They're about the size of my little finger, the tip of my little finger. They have control of everything from cell phones to automobiles to weapon systems and the like. We invented them. We had 40% of the market. And then corporate America decided it was best to go to where cheapest labor was. And I was determined to bring it back home. We invented these chips. So I got in a plane and flew to South Korea, trying to convince Samsung that they should invest in chips in the United States. And the end result is we got billions of dollars committed to build these chip factories here in America. And secondly, they're going to increase the economic growth in America significantly. The people work in those chip factories. They're going to make over $102,000 a year on average. They don't need a college degree. It's going to revolutionize communities all across America. It's not only the construction of the facility, which increases the need for skilled workers to build them, it also means once that's done, there's going to be a permanent workforce of thousands of people all across America making serious money. And when that happens, guess what else happens? More barbershops, beauty parlors, drugstores, churches, and communities grow around them. We provided more money for red states to build these than blue states. I think it's one of the most important things I was able to do. I walked the picket line to support the UAW. I wasn't even thinking I was the first president. I did that as a senator. I did those things as a vice president. It didn't even dawn on me that the president's never done this before. But I wanted to make it clear that the middle class built this country and unions built the middle class. And it was critically important to me to demonstrate my support, in this case, for the UAW. They got their contract. They're making American automobiles. We're coming back. You know, I got a lot of criticism for saying unions are making more money and it's going to cost everybody. Wrong. I asked the Treasury Department to do a study for me. As union wages went up, and they have significantly all across America, the study showed everybody's wages go up. So I make no apologies. I'm the most pro-union president in American history. I'm proud of that. And I'm really proud of the union movement in America. Well, this is a picture of me being handed a ball by my cousin from Ireland, Rob. He and his brother were two of the best players in the Irish club, and it was St. Patrick's Day. But what it meant to me was more than that. It was a tie to the past. It was our roots, the roots of my family. When we went to Ireland and they did this extensive genealogy, my family in Ireland, the Blewitts are from Mayo, and the other half from Louth, which is on the Irish Sea, the Finnegans. The ball meant to me more than just the game. Gave up. Wanted to make sure that Black Americans knew how they were being left out in history. When the Emancipation Proclamation was passed, there's a whole group of African Americans in West Texas didn't have any idea of what happened. This was a day that made it known to them. Celebrate the fact that this occurred. We all are created equal and deserve to be treated equally throughout our lives. I wanted to make sure we knew that we were writing history, making sure we were not erasing it. We've never lived up to this ideal, but we've never walked away from it. Until you lose a part of your family, you don't really appreciate what it means when you're wondering whether or not you're ever going to see them again. And these are their family. This is their family. And I felt an overwhelming sense of accomplishment, being able to bring their parents home from Russia, being held unfairly. It was a complicated process to get it done. The guy that I've become friends with, Chancellor Schulz of Germany, he made it happen. He had to release a prisoner in Germany in order to get these men released. He met Jill at the Olympics, and he said, "I'm doing this for your husband." I'm reminded that the word of leaders matters. And I think building personal relationship with world leaders matters. I'm indebted to the Chancellor for what he did, but it mattered. We did it for them, they did it for us. That's what alliances are about. But look at the looks on their faces. To see them come home, to know that they came back, to know that they were going to be okay, mattered a great deal to me. I remember taking off my lapel pin and giving it to one of them, who was saying, "Welcome home." To quote my dad, he said, "Joey, family's the beginning, the middle, and end. Uniting families matters." I just felt so good about it. I felt a great deal of pride and a great deal of thanks to the Germans for releasing that prisoner.